So Sports Illustrated came out with their annual top 100 NBA players list. And before I get into the top 10, which is what we're going to focus on, I wanted to show you some other things that kind of stood out to me. First and foremost, Kevin Durant is not on the list because they expect him to miss the entire 2019-2020 season in totality. Klay Thompson is number 58 on the list. I'm guessing their breakdown over it is pretty much he's going to miss most of the regular season, if not all. And there's no point in having him in that top realm right now if they're basing it off production in the season, if he's not going to be there for most of it. So giving him 58 is probably higher than what he should be. Probably shouldn't be on the list either for this year. Obviously, we know when Klay Thompson's healthy, he's a top 20 player. Victor Oladipo is number 39. He's going to probably be out to about around December, January-ish, coming off of his torn ACL injury as well. I probably would have him top 15 if healthy, but again, he's injured right now, and they based this list kind of off production and what they think you're going to do in the season. Chris Paul at number 21 is entirely too high for me. I love Chris Paul. I think he's a Hall of Fame point guard, but to me, if you're going to base it off production and being available for your team over the last 2 years, definitely last year, Chris Paul didn't show me either. He hasn't been available. I believe if not for his injury 2 years ago versus the Golden State Warriors, the Rockets would have made the NBA Finals versus a very weak Cleveland Cavaliers team outside of Bron. And last year, bruh just wasn't available, or he wasn't good when he was on the court more times than not. So salute to Chris Paul, Hall of Famer. Number 21 is entirely too high. Draymond Green at 17 is entirely too high for me as well. The only thing I can think of is because Golden State's going to be without Klay for most of the season, they're expecting his production to be higher. That's the only thing that only way I can kind of make sense out of it. But let's focus on the top 10 here. Let's put it up on your screen right now. Top 10 NBA players projected by SI. Again, no Kevin Durant. He's not on the list at all this year because of injury. Dame's at 10. Paul George is at 9. Jokic is at 8. Joel Embiid of Phillies at 7. Anthony Davis now of the Lakers at 6. Harden of the Rockets 5. Curry at 4. Bron at 3. Kawhi at 2. And Giannis at 1. I believe they started doing this list back in 2013. It's the first time LeBron James is not atop this list. So here's my list. I'm going to kind of revitalize this list, and I'll tell you why. I have Joel Embiid as number 10. And when he's healthy, he's probably top 5, top 6 on this list. But Joel Embiid, more times than not, he's not healthy. In the second round of the playoffs last year, Philly should have beat Toronto. The reason why they didn't is because they got really 2 great games out of Embiid and 5 average ones out of Embiid. His body broke down. Many people believe that he's not in the best of shape. To be 7 feet in this league, you got to go above and beyond to stay in this league, and people don't believe he's doing that. If he's not available for his team, I can't put him over some of these other guys who are more available and dominant. That's why I got Damian Lillard at number 9 on my list. He's available night in, night out. He's a phenomenal point guard. He got his team a step further in the right direction. Embiid did not. Dame was able to get his Portland Trail Blazers to the Western Conference Finals. I got him at 9. Number 8 for me, Paul George. If you would have asked me to do this list maybe 4 or 5 months ago around February, I would have had PG-13, probably top 4, top 5, just because I think his game is literally unstoppable. He doesn't have a glaring weakness to me in his game outside of his mental. I really do believe Paul George was injured after All-Star Weekend. I believe somewhere around there he got injured. His shoulder, he needed surgery. He wasn't himself. That's why, to me, bigger than any other reason why Portland was able to get rid of the Thunder in 5 games. Paul George healthy. To me, top 4, top 5, I got to see him get healthy again, though. Nikola Jokic right above him at 7 for me. Jokic put Denver in a nice position. Let's not forget, they were, number 2 seed last year? For most of last year, they had that thing rolling. Jamal Murray and company boys balling out. But obviously, the person that was the catalyst of this offense, averaging 25, 13, and 8 in the playoffs, was Nikola Jokic. He was absolutely sensational. And he deserves to be in that top 7. He needs to be, he got Denver top 2 seed, and he was the catalyst. Best player on that team, best rebound on that team, best passer on that team, best scorer on that team. I don't know what else you need to talk about. Number 6, I got Anthony Davis, and I reluctantly got him at 6 because I don't really like putting people in positions when they ain't proving anything, right? Like, Jokic has gotten his Nuggets team past the first round, into the second round. Davis has only did that once in his career. Jokic looks like he's going to do that every year for the Nuggets. He didn't have to go team up with LeBron. But look, Anthony Davis is so long. He's so dominant. He's a walking 25 and 12 every night. And he can affect the game so many ways defensively. To me, that's the difference between Davis and Jokic. Davis can do everything Jokic can do offensively, maybe outside of the passing ability. But defensively, even if AD's having a bad game, which usually isn't the case, he can change an entire game defensively. Probably is going to be the lead candidate for Defensive Player of the Year today. So that's like the rare circumstance where I'll put a guy in Davis over Jokic, because Jokic is more accomplished to this point, in my opinion. At 5, I got Harden, one of the best scorers of this generation. And he can't. There's nothing he can't do on a basketball court. I need him to stop complaining so damn much. But he's one of the best scorers we've ever seen. This dude can get it done. I like to give James Harden credit for this. He gets his team to the playoffs no matter what he has around him. I'm talking about barring injuries, Clint Capella, Chris Paul, they could go down. He's still going to get you to the playoffs. And that's what a top 5 player should be able to do, no matter what. No matter what I got around me, I'm getting you to the playoffs. Even Kobe didn't do that in his prime. At number 4, I got Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a Hall of Fame point guard, first ballot. This is the best shooter of all time. Y'all know what time it is. And I really think we're going to see some great Steph Curry without Kevin Durant, without Klay Thompson. I really think we're going to see that great Steph Curry again, man. I'm super happy to see that. Dude probably going to average 27 and 8 a night. And his shooting percentages are going to be, he might even average more than that, maybe 32 a night. I think we're going to get an MVP caliber season from Steph Curry. He's my lead for MVP of the 2019-2020 season right now. At number 3, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. My list is a little different. I got Giannis at number 3. Now, I was the one saying I felt like Giannis was the best player in the NBA, and I had to kind of backpedal that. But here's my thing. In the playoffs, after Game 2, in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference, Nick Nurse made a decision to put Kawhi Leonard on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we didn't hear from him. If I can't give my best player the basketball with under 24 seconds to go in a basketball game and to get a basket, we got problems. That cannot be the best player in the game. He just was so great in the regular season on both ends of the court. I'm going to put him at 3. But he really backpedaled to me in that playoffs because I couldn't give my best player the ball and expect to score. They had nowhere to go offensively when Chris Middleton didn't have it going versus Philly in the playoffs. At number 2, I'm going to roll with King James. LeBron James has been, like I said, the best player for quite some time. I don't think he's the best player in the world anymore. But because he can make a jumper down the stretch and Giannis can't right now, I'm going to put LeBron as a placeholder for 3 in year 17. And I'm going to put him there just because he's still a great passer. Explosion, not what he used to be, but he was so far above everybody else with his explosion. He's still one of the best athletes in the game. He can score the basketball, still give you 8 rebounds a night on top of that. 28, 8 and 8 a night in a bad year for King James last year. Number 1 in the hood for me, I'm going to LA now. The team that plays in the same building as LeBron and the Lakers, I'm going Kawhi Leonard. I just think dude is the total package. He showed it to you last year throughout the playoffs. They lost. The Raptors lost Game 1 to the Orlando Magic. After that, Magic ain't win another game. Kawhi Leonard took over that series. Second round, Philadelphia, feisty team, Jimmy Butler, all these dudes. It's Kawhi time. He took over that series, including sending the Philadelphia 76ers home with a game-winning shot in Game 7 of that series. We get to the conference final, as I mentioned earlier, Kawhi Leonard put on Giannis Antetokounmpo exclusively after Game 2. Bye-bye Giannis Antetokounmpo. We get to the NBA Finals, and Kawhi was ready to take on Kevin Durant, but unfortunately, due to injury, we didn't get KD for most of that series, outside of maybe a quarter. Kawhi Leonard was absolutely phenomenal. Got his team to the NBA championship, and they won it. He's having the career that LeBron James is supposed to have, and that's why he's the best in the game right now.